Okay, let us now solve question number 15 from the practice sheet. Question number 15 says, two poles of equal heights are standing opposite each other on either side of the road. Okay, so it says that there are two poles which are of equal heights. They are standing opposite to each other, okay, on either side of a road. So it means, let us say this is a road, like this, there is a road and one pole is on this side and one pole is on this side. So one pole is in right side and one in left side. So like this is a road and there are two poles at the corner of the road, okay, one is here, both are of equal length. Okay, then it says, sorry, both are of equal heights. So two poles of equal heights are standing opposite each other on either side of the road, and which is 80 meter wide. So what it says is the width of the road is 80 meters and two poles are standing across the road in the opposite direction. So if this is a road, this is 80 meter wide road, I can assume one pole here and one pole here. So to draw the diagram, to draw this situation, to look this situation on board, what I can say is, question number 15, what I can say is, this is the ground, okay, and let us say that this AB represents road. Okay, this AB represents road. How? This road is like this, it is moving like this. I am looking the road from the front view, okay, from the front side. So I can see that road is like this and it is moving in this way, okay, and at the two corners of the road, at the two ends of the road, which is 80 meter wide, so it means this distance between the road is 80 meters, between the points AB is 80 meter, that is the width of the road, and there is a pole at point A. Let us say this is a pole, this is A, D, and there is also a pole marked at point B. Okay, this is a pole at point B, which is, let us say, BC. The length of both the poles is equal. Okay, the length of both the poles, the height of both the poles is equal. So road is like this, it is moving like this, and I can see two poles standing at the two ends of the road, which is 80 meter wide. So what I can say is, the distance, the gap between the two poles is 80 meters. Okay, the two poles are placed at a gap of 80 meters. The road is given just for confusing you. Okay, the importance of road is nothing. What they can say is, instead of this, they can say it in this way, that there are two poles which are placed 80 meter away from each other. Okay, it simply means that the road is given just to confuse. So don't get confused. Okay, so as I said, this is 80 meter distance between the two poles. Both the poles are of equal height. So can I say that this is, let us say, H. So this will be H also. So height of pole I have assumed as H. Till now we have understood the question. Now let us read further. From a point between them. Okay, from a point between them, it means there is a point between the two poles, that is in between A and B. From a point between them on the road, the angles of elevation of the top of the poles are 60 degree and 30 degree respectively. Find the heights of the pole and the distances of the point from the poles. Now, since both the poles are of equal length, okay, they are of equal height. So it means if I stand exactly in the middle of the road, the angle of elevation from the middle of the road, the angle of elevation of the top of this pole from the middle of the road will be equal to the angle of elevation of the top of this pole from the middle of the road. Okay, it means since both are of equal height, so if I stand in the middle, the angle, this angle of elevation and this angle will be equal. Okay, this angle and this angle will be equal if I am standing in the middle. But it says that the angle of elevation are 60 degree and 30 degree. It means I am standing closer to one pole and away from another pole. So let us say I am standing somewhere here, which is point E. I am standing at point E. So if I observe this tower, the angle of elevation, this top of this pole, the angle of elevation will be 30 degrees, and if I observe this pole, the top of this pole, the angle of elevation will be 60 degrees. Why? Because I am standing closer to this pole. So if I am standing closer to this pole, the angle of elevation of its top should be more compared to the angle of elevation of this top, okay, top of the second pole. So what I can see is I am not standing in the middle of the road. So definitely one thing is true, that I am not at least standing in the middle of the road. Now my task is to determine h, that is the height of the pole, and my task is also to determine AE and EB. AE represents the distance of this point from this pole, and EB represents the distance of this point from this pole. So I need to determine this also, and I need to determine h. So these are the unknown quantities that we have. This is the approach that we should apply in this question. First we have drawn the diagram, then we have identified the unknown quantities. Now next is what? We need to understand, we need to determine, we need to identify the right angled triangles, as I have said previously. So here I can see there are two right angled triangles. One is triangle AED and another is triangle EBC. This is what we can see. Okay. Now I can see that the common thing between the two triangles, next we need to identify the common thing. The common thing between the two triangles is this AE and this EB. The sum of AE and EB is given as 80 meters. Okay, this is the common thing. This is a relation. This relation relates the two triangles, that is AE plus EB is equals to 80 meters. This is what we have. Now observe this triangle AED. In this triangle, this angle is 60 degree. So with respect to this angle, this is the perpendicular and this AE is the base. So to relate this perpendicular and this base, I have tan theta. So tan of angle 60 degree, now I am writing it directly. Tan of angle 60 degree is equals to h upon AE. So this 60 degree is root 3. So it implies AE is equals to h upon root 3. This is what we can get. AE is equals to h upon root 3. Further, for this triangle EBC, this angle is 60 degree. Okay, this is h, that is perpendicular with respect to this angle, and this EB is the base with respect to this angle. So again I can write tan of angle 30 degree is equals to perpendicular is h upon base is EB. Now this is 1 by root 3, so you will get EB is equals to h root 3. This is what we can get. Now AE and EB, we have AE, we have EB, and we have this condition. So can I substitute the value of AE in this equation and EB also in this equation? So I will get h upon root 3 plus h root 3 is equals to 80 meters. Okay, AE plus EB is 80 meters. This is what I can see. Further, I can see just by solving this, this will be h plus 3h upon root 3, okay, is equals to 80. So this implies h is equals to 80 root 3 upon 4. So this implies 20 root 3 meters. This is the value of h. Okay, You can see the calculation, it's very basic. So there is nothing to explain in this calculation. H by root 3 plus H root 3. So this is denominator 1. I have taken LCM. LCM is root 3. So here I get H plus root 3 into root 3, that is 3H upon root 3. Then solving it, and I get H is equals to 20 root 3. H represents the height of this towers, okay, height of these poles. Further, if I need to calculate AE, what is AE? AE is equals to H upon root 3. So AE is equals to H upon root 3. H is 20 root 3 upon root 3. So AE is 20 meters. Then what is EB? EB is H root 3. So 20 root 3 into root 3 will give you root 3 into root 3 is 3 into 20. So 3 into 20 is 60 meters. Okay. So what I can see is, since E is close to this pole, therefore the angle of elevation of its top is more compared to the angle of elevation of this top. Even we have that both the poles are of equal length, but the distance from the point of observation is also matter. Okay, point of observation is also very important. So from here I am observing which is close to this pole but not to this pole. That's why angle of elevation is more. Here angle of elevation is less. So in this way we need to solve this question. It's a good question. Okay, it's interesting question. Question number 15 we have solved. Only the thing you can see is, from the last 4-5 questions we have solved, we have got two triangles and just the same approach to understand, to identify two right angle triangles, to identify the relation between the two triangles, and then just apply and calculate the trigonometric ratio and just calculate. Okay. So this is 15th one. Let us solve the 16th question. Question number 16 says, from a point on a bridge across a river. So from a point on a bridge across a river. So it means there is a river flowing and there is a point on the bridge. You know what is the bridge on a river. Okay, and on that bridge, from a point, the angles of depression of the banks, okay, angles of depressions of the banks on opposite side of the river are 30 degree and 45 degree respectively. If the bridge is at a height of 3 meter from the bank, find the width of the river. So it says that there is a river flowing and there is a bridge over it. And if I stand on the bridge and I observe the opposite banks of that river, I will find that the angle of depression of one bank is 30 degrees and angle of depression of another bank is 45 degrees. Now, why it says angle of depression? Because bridge is above the river. So to observe the banks, I need to move my head downwards. Okay, ब्रिज के ऊपर खड़े होके अगर मुझे रिवर के किनारे को देखना है तो मुझे मेरे हेड को नीचे करना पड़ेगा, then only I will be able to see the banks. So definitely angle of depression should come into the picture. So if I draw the diagram of this question, let us draw the diagram. This question is interesting. The diagram will be interesting. Let us say this is the ground level, and let us say this AB represents the river. Now how AB is representing the river? I am assuming that river is flowing like this, okay, in front, like this, and I am observing it from the front side. This is the front view of the river. So AB represents the river in this direction. Then if I draw the river bank, there is a bridge on this. So how the bridge is made? It looks something like this, like this, like this, and here is another. These are the two towers on which the bridge is standing. So these are the two towers, and let us say this is the bridge. This is the bridge. Okay, so I am standing on this bridge. Let us say I am standing here. somewhere here. It says that the bridge is 3 meter above the river. So it means this height is given as 3 meters because the bridge is 3 meter above the river. Now it says the width of the bridge. Okay, the bridge is how much? It is, okay, the width of the bridge is not given, that is what we need to determine. So what is the width of the bridge in this diagram? AB represents the width of the bridge. So definitely I need to identify the value of AB. Now, as I said, let us assume I am standing at this point. So what are the river banks? River banks are this point, this A point and this B point represents the river bank. From this point, let us say this is C, from this C point I am observing this A point and I am observing this B point. So what it says is, if I am standing at C point and I need to observe, if I want to observe this B point, I need to move my head downwards with an angle of 45 degrees or 30 degrees. Since I can see that I have made this C point close to this bridge. So जैसा हमने यहाँ पर देखा, जिस टावर के क्लोज खड़े होके हम टॉप को ऑब्जर्व करेंगे, वहां पर एंगल ऑफ एलिवेशन ज्यादा होगा. Now you can see this tower and this tower are of both equal length. ये दोनों सेम हाइट के हैं, सेम लेंथ के हैं. ये 3 मीटर है, ये भी 3 मीटर है. तो अगर मैं C पॉइंट पे, मतलब अगर मैं इस टावर के क्लोज खड़ा हूं, तो डेफिनेटली इसके बॉटम को देखने के लिए मुझे ज्यादा नीचे झुकना पड़ेगा, मेरा एंगल ऑफ डिप्रेशन ज्यादा होगा. सो the angle of depression of this B point from this C point, this is the line of sight and this is 45 degrees. And what about this A point? If I observe this A point from this C point, this is the line of sight and this angle is given as 30 degrees. Okay, this is the angle of depression. So we have two angles of depression. Now let us draw a perpendicular from this point C. Try to understand why I am drawing the perpendicular. Even if you do not like to draw the perpendicular, it's your choice, no need to draw. Now, so what we have is, we have this height as 3 meter, we have this AB as the width of the river, that is need to be identified, and we have this C point, that is a point of observation. Let us say the tops of this tower, okay, these 2 points, let us say this is D and this is E. Okay, this is E and this is D, we have identified. So now our task is to determine this AB. Okay, so we have identified the unknown quantity. Now next thing is, try to determine the triangles that are getting formed in this diagram. Even if you do not want to draw this perpendicular, it's your choice. Let us remove this perpendicular, it doesn't matter. So if I look into this diagram, I can see 2 triangles. I can see that there is a triangle ACD, and another triangle is triangle BCE. Okay, triangle ACD and triangle BCE are the 2 different triangles that I have observed. Now what is common in both the triangles? The thing which relates both the triangle is DC plus CE is equals to DE. What is DE? DE is basically equal to AB, which is equal to width of the river which is need to be identified. Okay, this DE represents the width of the river. You can see this ABCD, this is forming a rectangle, so DE is equal to AB. It's very simple. So DE फाइंड कर लिया, मतलब AB फाइंड कर लिया, तो हमारा टास्क एक तरह से DE को फाइंड करना हो जाता है. Now observe the triangle ACD. Triangle ACD. In this triangle, this angle is 30 degree. With respect to this angle, this AD is the perpendicular and this DC is the base. So this is perpendicular, this is base. So what is the ratio to relate both the things? that is tan of 30 degree is equals to perpendicular. Perpendicular is AD upon base is DC. So tan 30 degree is 1 upon root 3, which is equals to AD is what? We know the value of AD, it is 3 meters upon DC. We do not know the value of DC. So it gives DC is equals to 3 root 3 meters. Okay, so we have the value of DC. Now let us observe this triangle BCE. In triangle BCE, this BE is perpendicular with respect to this angle and this CE is base with respect to this 45 degree angle. So again I can apply tan 45 degree, which is equals to BE upon CE. Tan 45 degree is 1, which is equals to BE. Sorry, this is BE. So what is BE? BE is equal to AD because this is the height of the height of the bridge. Okay, so this is 1 is equals to 3 upon CE. We don't know the value of CE. This implies CE is equals to 3 meters. So DC is 3 root 3 meters and CE is 3 meters. Now we need to determine DE. DE is what? It is DC plus CE. So it implies that DE is equals to 3 root 3 plus 3 root 3 plus 3 meters. Okay, and the same is AB. So AB is equals to 3 times of root 3 plus 1 meters. This is the width of the river that we need to identify. Okay, so you can see here we have two reverse triangles. Okay, the triangles are not direct triangles like this, they are reversed because they are angle of depression. Now this time I am standing not on the ground level, I am standing at the top of a bridge. Okay, so this is the question number 16. You can see this question and this question both are similar. If I reverse this diagram, this question will be similar to question number 15. There is no difference. Okay, so this is the solution for 16th one. First you note this, then we will continue.